Imagine a fighter so advanced, so elusive, that even United States, the long-acknowledged master of stealth and air supremacy, found itself pausing to watch CI Israel's F-35 Adir purr. When an Adir slices upward through desert dawn, its form is nearly invisible. Each panel has been aligned precisely, its joints sealed under radar-absorbent coatings designed to drink electromagnetic energy rather than reflect it. Light glances off matte gray composite skin, without sparkle or glare. No bolt protrudes, no rivet disrupts airflow. The craft's shape itself becomes defense. Yet Israeli designers refuse to stop where stealth physics end. They inserted home-built electronic warfare arrays that distort enemy radar signatures beyond conventional expectations. For hostile operators staring at green screens across hostile borders, the Adir doesn't exist. It is a W. Cockpit departs from everything previous generations of pilots remember. Instead of hundreds of toggles and analog dials crowding narrow panels, one panoramic touchscreen stretches across front consoles. Information once scattered now converges. Flight data, targeting, communications, diagnostics, all appear on a single interface responsive to gloved fingertips. But even that innovation pales beside the helmet that completes this loop between flesh and circuitry. Costing several $100,000, it integrates cameras fixed around fuselage, projecting live external imagery directly onto visor glass. Pilots describe sensation as nearly supernatural. Glance downward, earth scrolls beneath seat. Turn head, horizon follows smoothly. Look behind, tail vanishes, replaced by wide-angle real-time world. Situational awareness becomes instinct rather than calculation. Those who have flown decades' worth of machines call it transformation. Mind and metal blended seamlessly. Under composite armor beats power measured not only in numbers, but confidence. Pratt Whitney's F-135 engine delivers more than 40,000 pounds thrust, launching Adir past Mach 1.6, nearly twice speed of sound. Within seconds after throttle push, horizon tilts, sky becomes blur. That magnitude of thrust allows vertical climbs no previous multi-role fighter could sustain for long. Combined with Israel's upgraded flight control algorithms, the Adir can pivot sharply, roll out, strike, and exit before adversaries coordinate pursuit. Custom sensors built by domestic firms feed targeting data with millisecond precision. Enemies appear as digital silhouettes long before their radars wake. Across years of operations, including strikes within densely protected Middle Eastern corridors, Israeli squadrons demonstrated pattern: enter undetected, destroy objectives, vanish. Only silence left behind. Observers within Pentagon watched results with professional awe. Reports reaching Washington spoke not just of successful missions, but efficiency surpassing expectation. Engineers recognized something profound. Their creation had matured differently overseas. Israel's adjustments transformed F-35 from cooperative network node into autonomous hunter. Those modifications prompted American teams to study Israeli code structure, data handling efficiency, and combat decision loops. Elements derived from that research later filtered into broader F-35 software updates. Pride mingled with humility. The teacher realized students' necessity had produced genuine innovation. Survivability drives every Israeli design choice. If missile warning sensors register lock on, onboard processors decide instantly which countermeasure suits trajectory and threat class. Electronic jamming pulse, decoy flare burst, or sudden supersonic turn-ripping heat trail from seeker head. During such moments, pilot feels system acting almost ahead of thought. Artificial intelligence woven into control architecture corrects imbalance automatically if structure sustains damage. Pilots often describe aircraft's reaction as will to live. To Israel, that personality inside machine is not superstition, but engineering ideal, technology protecting human life beyond expectation. Digital vulnerability, however, represents modern Achilles' heel. Israel responded by armoring information itself. Every byte leaving Adir passes through proprietary encryption chains. Mission recordings, radar echoes, live camera feeds remain secure even if jet were lost. Foreign intelligence agencies could recover wreckage yet learn nothing. This invisible wall of code impressed cyber specialists worldwide, influencing American doctrine for stealth data protection. 21st century warfare demands secrecy measured not in camouflage, but in ciphertext. Perhaps most defining characteristic of Adir lies in independence. Many nations operating F-35 rely upon American servers controlling mission software and updates. Israel severed that dependency. Engineers built indigenous maintenance infrastructure, allowing complete autonomy over programming, weapon integration, and performance tuning. Pilots choose Israeli-made air-to-ground munitions, plug them seamlessly into mission database, and launch without seeking external authorization. The result is sovereignty at 25,000 feet, a capacity act decisively within minutes rather than hours. In region where situations evolve faster than diplomacy, such speed equals security. Adir thus becomes airborne command post, brain as much as brawn. Cost inevitably follows ambition. A baseline F-35 carries price tag between $80 million and $100 million, depending configuration. Once Israeli systems installed, custom sensors, coded modules, proprietary interfaces, final figure exceeds $120 million each. For many economies, that number appears staggering. For Israel, it represents insurance premium. Survival in volatile neighborhood cannot be priced quarterly. Each Adir embodies deterrence. Proof enemy planners must account for invisible visitor capable striking anywhere, anytime. Within defense calculus, that psychological effect alone repays investment. Battlefield performance validates expense. Single Adir can replace formations once needed for complex operations. Tasks formerly dividing across escorts, bombers, electronic jammers now compress into one platform. It identifies, jams, strikes, and verifies simultaneously. While adversaries scramble interceptors, Adir already fades beyond horizon. That efficiency changes mathematics of warfare. Fewer sorties, fewer risks, equal or greater results. During coordinated exercises with Allied drones, Adirs acted as airborne quarterbacks, feeding situational updates through secure data links, orchestrating swarm maneuvers unseen by hostile sensors. Military analysts call this shift force multiplication. America studied those outcomes closely. Data gathered from Israeli sorties influenced further thinking about distributed lethality and future man-machine collaboration. Yet behind numbers lies cultural engine-driving progress. Israel's technological ecosystem thrives on constraint. Lacking infinite resources, innovators trade bureaucracy for speed, hierarchy for improvisation. Fighter design follows same rhythm. When engineers encounter limitation, they reroute rather than retreat. That mentality, pressure-forging creativity, infuses every microchip inside Adir. Necessity becomes innovation laboratory. Pentagon officials visiting production lines often remark upon atmosphere resembling startup more than defense plant. Every upgrade feels experimental yet urgent, grounded by frontline feedback cycles measured in days, not years. Despite complexity, pilot experience remains human-centric. Sitting within cockpit feels less like entering cage of buttons than stepping into partnership. Systems anticipate rather than demand. Targeting cues appear before verbal request. Trajectory adjustments unfold smoothly. Communication links open contextually based upon mission flow. Veteran aviators compare sensation with conducting symphony orchestra through gesture instead of baton. Jet's algorithms translate instinct into execution, leaving mental bandwidth for broader strategy. Machine amplifies intellect without erasing control. That collaboration between person and processor ensures safety as much as lethality. Accidents born from overload become rarer because workload redistributes intelligently. From standpoint of adversaries watching radar arrays across distant deserts, nothing appears. Then something explodes. In those seconds, doctrine evolves globally. Militaries understand warfare's frontier no longer depends solely upon airframe's aerodynamics or engine thrust, but software's cognition speed. Code, once support function, has become weapon. Israeli programmers treat their combat scripts as living organisms, updating libraries after every sortie. Lessons learned overnight become new behaviors next morning. Over time, Adir refines itself, evolving without full redesign. Such adaptability guarantees relevance well into future where threats mutate faster than procurement cycles. As sun sets across Negev, shimmering heat gives way to cold air and fading light. Hangar doors slide open, and another Adir glides silently out, its matte surfaces swallowing twilight. Maintenance crews step back. Engine ignites with subdued thunder. Aircraft lifts effortlessly, leaving ground behind in near-perfect vertical climb. Within seconds, it merges with dusk, unseen yet utterly present. For those below, that sight captures essence of modern deterrence. Quiet confidence rooted in mastery of both matter and information. No banners, no speeches, only performance. The world may measure might in fleets or budgets, but Israel measures it in survivability, precision, adaptability. That understanding, distilled into steel, carbon, and code, is what makes Adir more than fighter. It is statement of intent written across silent skies. When that jet fades into the horizon, what remains behind is not noise but legacy. Israel's F-35 Adir continues rewriting expectations every time it leaves the runway. The aircraft has become more than equipment. It is reflection of national character shaped by necessity, resilience, and imagination. In Israel, innovation rarely begins in comfort. Every breakthrough emerges from tension between limited resources and unlimited threats. The Adir embodies that paradox. It merges Western design discipline with Israeli improvisation, a blend that turns constraint into advantage. For analysts watching across Washington or Brussels, the message is unmistakable. Capability is no longer defined by size, but by adaptability. During early evaluations, American observers noted that Israel treated software like ammunition, constantly updated, always ready for next mission. Engineers in Tel Aviv modify operational algorithms almost weekly, integrating lessons from recent sorties. That rapid iteration process creates evolutionary momentum impossible within slower bureaucratic defense systems. Instead of waiting for multi-year upgrade cycles, Israel's squadrons test and deploy new code within days. Each patch adjusts radar behavior, sensor sensitivity, or threat recognition timing. Over time, the aircraft becomes smarter, leaner, and more attuned to regional combat patterns. For a country surrounded by diverse threats, from long-range missile batteries in Syria to shifting militant tactics near Gaza, that responsiveness is essential. Inside secure labs near Nevatim Air Base, technicians monitor simulation clusters mirroring real combat environments. There, digital twins of operational Adirs replay missions frame by frame, collecting anomalies, refining logic. Artificial intelligence tools comb through terabytes of flight data searching for microsecond inefficiencies. When they find any, new directives are coded overnight and loaded into jets before sunrise. The cycle never stops. That constant learning curve explains why the Adir feels alive. It evolves between flights, never static, never predictable. American officers who visited those facilities returned impressed not merely by technology, but by attitude. One colonel described atmosphere as controlled chaos where everyone understands purpose. Israeli teams operate with trust and autonomy uncommon in large militaries. Mechanics discuss directly with programmers. Pilots sit beside engineers replaying helmet footage to explain how sensors behaved under stress. Feedback travels instantly through organization, without bureaucratic filters. That speed, cultural as much as technical, forms invisible edge as critical as stealth shaping. While much attention focuses on radar evasion, another equally significant aspect defines Adir's power: information dominance. During missions, each aircraft becomes airborne server collecting live data from drones, ground radars, and satellites. Its communication network fuses those streams into single coherent picture visible on pilot's display. That synthesis allows rapid decisions impossible in previous generations. When a hostile radar illuminates, Adir doesn't just detect it. It triangulates source, cross-checks frequency patterns, and predicts counter-fire timelines. Such awareness transforms defense into offense. The jet no longer reacts to danger, it orchestrates battlefield tempo. In conflicts where minutes determine success, that cognitive edge outweighs raw speed. Observers from Allied air forces often describe joint exercises with Adirs as humbling. Traditional fighters rely on voice radio coordination. Adir pilots share encrypted data silently. They see same targets, same weather fronts, same threat icons appear simultaneously on screens. That unity erases confusion and compresses command chains. A formation of Adirs functions less like group of individuals and more like networked organism. To adversaries lacking comparable connectivity, facing that swarm is like fighting ghost army appearing everywhere at once. Even within its home country, presence of Adir reshapes defense strategy. Commanders now plan operations with smaller footprints. Instead of large strike packages risking detection, few Adirs handle entire objectives with precision. That efficiency reduces political exposure and collateral damage, two concerns always looming in region dense with civilian areas. The jet's ability to gather intelligence during combat adds secondary value. Every mission doubles as reconnaissance. Ground analysts receive data streams within minutes, updating national intelligence maps in real time. In essence, each flight becomes sensor sweep across multiple borders. Costly as program remains, economic argument aligns with practicality. Maintaining smaller fleet of smarter aircraft proves cheaper long-term than sustaining massive legacy forces. Reduced manpower requirements, fewer training hours, and minimal attrition offset acquisition expense. Moreover, export partnerships surrounding maintenance create local industry jobs. Israel's defense firms specializing in avionics, encryption, and software benefit directly, turning national investment into circular economic engine. Technically, integration between human intuition and digital autonomy continues deepening. As artificial intelligence modules mature, Adir increasingly handles low-level tasks autonomously: engine calibration, fuel optimization, electronic countermeasure timing, freeing pilots for strategic decisions. Some within Israeli Air Force describe progression toward symbiosis, where pilot serves as conscience guiding machine's logic, rather than operator issuing constant commands. That shift mirrors global trend toward human-machine teaming, shaping next-generation combat. Yet Israel arrived early, proving such partnership possible now, not decades ahead. In Pentagon circles, the Adir's independence prompted strategic reflection. American planners once believed unified control architecture guaranteed security. Israel demonstrated that decentralization can enhance resilience. By running national software separate from global networks, Adir avoids single points of failure. Cyber attacks targeting international infrastructure cannot paralyze Israeli operations. That lesson resonated deeply within U.S. discussions about digital sovereignty. Future warfare, experts concluded, will hinge upon nations owning code powering their weapons. Hardware without software independence equals borrowed power. Despite admiration, Israel maintains discretion regarding operational details. Official statements reveal little beyond confirmed participation in regional strikes against Iranian assets and clandestine reconnaissance over hostile territories. Yet each leaked photo or radar trace fuels legend. Military historians already compare Adir's influence to introduction of jet propulsion during mid-20th century, a paradigm leap altering every rule simultaneously. For Israel, owning that advantage ensures deterrence stronger than any treaty. For adversaries, uncertainty itself becomes weapon. Never knowing whether sky overhead hides invisible watcher imposes psychological strain no diplomacy can ease. Pilots describe emotional weight accompanying such capability. Flying Adir means carrying national survival on wings. Every takeoff embodies mixture of confidence and reverence. Training emphasizes not arrogance but discipline. Machine grants near godlike awareness. Yet single error could compromise entire mission. Veterans of older platforms often confess initial disbelief upon realizing how much aircraft anticipates their intentions. One instructor recounted moment during simulation when he hesitated deciding approach angle, only for flight computer to suggest optimal vector milliseconds later. That collaboration felt unsettling, then liberating. "It wasn't replacing me," he said. "It was reading me." For those observing from afar, such anecdotes mark threshold between human mastery and machine partnership. Adir blurs distinction between pilot and program, raising philosophical questions beyond engineering. If decision loops shorten to algorithmic speed, where lies essence of command? Israel approaches that dilemma pragmatically. As long as human sets mission intent, autonomy serves purpose, not ego. The result is balance rare in military innovation, technology empowering judgment rather than supplanting it. Beyond tactical gains, the Adir's existence alters geopolitics subtly yet profoundly. Its reach extends deterrence envelope across region, granting Israel confidence to pursue diplomacy from position of strength. Allies recognize that behind every handshake hovers silent guardian capable striking hundreds miles away unseen. Rivals, aware of that reach, adjust calculus accordingly. Thus, machine influences peace as much as war. Power projected through silence sometimes prevents conflicts louder weapons might ignite. Meanwhile, global defense industries study Israeli experience meticulously. Nations investing in next-generation programs, Britain with Tempest, Japan with FX, America with NGAD. Examine how localized innovation within shared platform yielded disproportionate benefits. Conferences once dominated by American spokesmen now invite Israeli engineers explaining integration of modular code architecture. Their mantra remains consistent: adaptability over perfection. Build systems open to change, they argue, and users will outpace threats. That philosophy, proven in Adir's evolution, may well define sixth-generation design principles worldwide. As night falls over airbases scattered through southern deserts, crews prepare jets for dawn patrols. Technicians crawl beneath wings checking seams, replacing panels invisible under daylight. Commanders pace quietly, reviewing mission data. There is routine calmness in ritual. Yet under surface hums awareness that these machines stand at edge of tomorrow. Somewhere beyond horizon, adversary radars search futilely, knowing nothing they detect can equal what watches them. From perspective of ordinary citizens gazing upward, sound barely reaches ground. Only faint thunder hints at motion across stratosphere. That quiet represents triumph of intellect over force. Adir's whisper through air tells story of engineers who refused limitations, pilots who trusted unseen systems, nation that turned survival into science. For America, watching ally push frontier farther serves reminder that leadership thrives on collaboration as much as invention. For rest of world, it signals arrival of era where software-defined power reshapes balance among nations. Each generation of warfare produces icons symbolizing its ideals: Spitfire for courage, Phantom for speed, Raptor for dominance. Adir stands among them representing intelligence. It embodies shift from muscle toward mind. As technologies accelerate, that legacy endures. The smartest jet, not merely as machine, but concept proving knowledge equals defense. Somewhere tonight, another Adir returns from mission unseen, landing under floodlights while crews approach silently. Within minutes, its data downloads into encrypted archives, feeding learning loops that will guide tomorrow's flights. The process never ends. Evolution continues, line by line of code, circuit by circuit, heartbeat by heartbeat. Israel's F-35 Adir remains more than adaptation. It is prophecy. It tells world future victories will belong not to largest forces, but to those thinking quickest, moving quietest, adapting fastest. When historians one day chart timeline of aerial warfare, they will mark this moment, the era when intelligence took shape of flight. The United States built foundation, Israel sculpted possibility. Together they authored chapter reminding humanity that progress thrives when curiosity outruns fear. Adir, still rising into night, carries that story written across its stealth skin, shining faintly under stars invisible to radar, yet visible to imagination.